Hello, hello. Again, we're not going to do a formal intro. I'm Miranda. Welcome back. If you are new, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for joining me on today's adventure. So, this is something I've never shared before, and I've been on YouTube since 2019, which is insane to think that I've been on YouTube for 6 years. This channel that I'm currently on is about to have a 5-year birthday. I had another channel for a little while. Anywho's, I have been baking friends' cakes for 6 years. And it's been like a super fun little hobby for me. I am not, repeat, not a professional home baker. I'm just a girl who has a lot of fun. It feels like it's a craft project. My cakes look homemade. They look like just fun little cakes, I guess. But it makes the people in my life, aka the little kids that I know, so freaking happy. So I continue to do it for them every single birthday. I will dig through my phone and try to find photos. Here is a cake that I made 2 years ago. That was so fun. It was huge. It was so heavy. It was like 10 layers. It needed a little support. It also could have, been smoothed out a little bit better. But again, I'm not a professional home baker. I'm not a professional baker. It's just like a hobby for me. So I'm just here to share with you that if you are ever like, man, I wish I could make a birthday cake, just do it. I hope this inspires you to make someone you love or even yourself a fun cake. Here's another one that I did, just like a cute Pokemon one. And then the Charizard had some like squiggly candles and we lit those. I made sure to wrap a little foil on them so that way it wouldn't melt the plastic because those candles went like they were quick burning candles. Anyways, it was super cute. Again, I could use a little I think I could take a fondant class or like get better at fondant. I'm not very good at it and it's kind of hard to work with. So like my edges and everything don't look the best. But again, I'm making these cakes for like little friends in my life. I've made a couple cakes for adults too, but I tend not to make them characters. I don't have a lot of pictures of those. I take pictures of the character cakes. One year I made this adorable dump truck dirt cake. I don't have a photo of it, I don't think, but the rim of the cake was all Kit Kats, and then in the center for dirt, I did crumbled Oreo cookies, and then on the top, I did like dump trucks and dirt trucks or monster trucks or something. It was really cute. If I can find a picture of that, I'll pop it up too. But I love baking cakes. When everybody's birthdays come around, I start asking, especially the kids, what do you want for your cake? So I decided with the last video I think I shared, I mentioned like, hey, would you guys like to see a cake video? So we're probably going to pop up 3 of them here in the next month. This cake I'm making this day is for a 16-year-old. He just asked for chocolate. And I was like, okay, let's do something fun besides just like plain chocolate. So we're going to do an Oreo inspired cake here. It's going to have an Oreo stuffed buttercream, which is just something I made up. And then we're going to do like just a chocolate buttercream on the top. I'll kind of share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years. Again, not a professional baker. I know some people will probably watch this and cringe over me putting my eggs in my butter or using box cake. But again, I'm a mom. I'm busy now. I used to do all of this in one day. I would bake all the rounds, I would make all the frosting, and then the next day I would put everything together. I don't have time for that anymore, okay? Do not have time for that. Now I bake the rounds one day, pop them in the freezer. I come back a couple days later. I make my buttercream or whatever frosting I'm making, come back a few days later. And I usually assemble the cake the day before the party. So that way it is good to go. It's at its freshest. And then I pop it in my garage fridge and let it sit overnight. And that seems to work for me. So let's go over like the game plan, the schedule while I'm just kind of wrapping the cakes here. I like to freeze them. I feel like it's the absolute best thing. And you can freeze them for like up to 60 days or something like that. Usually I just freeze them for like 4 or 5. I think I started this cake on a Monday, finished it on a Friday. So not too bad. Again, I think it's actually better to do it in small increments than to do it all at once. It has made everything just like smoother sailing for me. So again, I just want to be here to encourage you and inspire you in your own kitchen. All right, here's my cake schedule. So this cake was going out for a 16-year-old birthday. Super fun birthday. They did like a Metallica theme. It was super cute. Well, I guess I shouldn't say cute because Metallica isn't cute, but it was. Okay. The next one I'm making the following week, which you're going to see, is for a 7-year-old's birthday. And he has requested a pickleball cake. And let me tell you, I am so excited about this pickleball cake. The same little guy has gotten the Pokemon cake and the Sonic the Hedgehog cake and the I think the pickleball cake is going to be my best one so far. I feel like his cakes I keep getting better and better at. We sit down and we plan these cakes together, and it's one of my favorite things. I've made all of his cakes from 2 years on, so 2 through 7. And it is one of my favorite things to do every year with him. It kind of started as like a little tradition, and every year when his birthday party, when they start planning it, he's like, okay, now let's talk about the cake. And he wants, like I said, a pickleball cake. I looked up a ton of inspiration on Pinterest, found a ton of stuff at Michael's, ordered some things on Amazon. I really do think it's going to be my best cake. So the next cake you're going to see is a pickleball cake. And let me tell you, like, I think it's going to be good. And then the following cake I have on my schedule is my daughter's first birthday cake. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because I'm not quite sure yet. I kind of have like a little party theme idea. I really need to get on that because it is coming up very, very soon. And I think part of me as like a first time mom is like so emotional over the first birthday that like I'm kind of putting it off a little bit. Let me know if you guys were like that. Oh, I can't believe it's been nearly a year. I feel like she was born last Monday, so I'm so confused how she's almost a year old. The first year of life goes so fast. But those are the 3 cakes on my agenda, and I plan to film each one. Obviously, I personally am just like really biased to the most special one being my daughter's, but it's just going to be like a little smash cake. If you guys don't do smash cakes for your first birthday, that's okay. I just thought it would be really fun and really cute. More so for like the pictures versus like her eating the cake. You know what I mean? Like it's just for like the experience and I think like the nostalgia of it all. Anyways, moving on to the buttercream. So for buttercream, I do a 3-3 ratio. And then I will always kind of just make sure it tastes good and then move on. Also, I do need to say, because if you see some of my items are Great Value brand, I have not been to Walmart in 3 years to shop for groceries versus picking up like a few things that only Walmart has. There's like a certain sauce that my husband really liked for a long time that we would go and just get at Walmart, but I have not shopped at Walmart in 3 years. That might be unbelievable for some people. We used to shop there all the time. It's just not convenient for me. It's not in a convenient place. It's not like one of my favorite stores. I don't like the layout of Walmart. I could go on and on. However, I saw that Walmart had these really cute pizza pajamas. Let me pop up a photo. Are these not the cutest? Okay, so anyway, someone I follow on Instagram shared that they got these pajamas at Walmart. And I was like, all right, I have to go to Walmart and get these pajamas. So I went and they had them. And I was so excited because my daughter loves pizza. So it was just like one of these things as a mom. I was like, she just has to have these pizza pajamas. While I was there, I was like, you know what? I might as well get the stuff for cake supplies. And guys, I've been sleeping on Walmart, okay? First of all, since I haven't been there in a really long time in their food section, it seems like they have everything. They have so much more than like the Smiths, which is a Kroger company that I shop at. And they also have a ton of like things that I would normally think were like specialty that you'd have to order via Instagram. Like when you see a company and stuff, you'd have to order it from their website or Amazon. I was walking down these aisles like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff here. And also the prices I was a little shocked by the prices. They're very inexpensive. I'm like, wait a second, how much is butter? How much is powdered sugar? So I just got my cake items at Walmart, which actually just surprised me because, again, I haven't shopped there in a long time. But let's get back to the buttercream. Okay, 3-3 ratio. 3 half cups of butter, so a cup and a half of butter, to 3 cups of powdered sugar. I add 3 tablespoons. Geez, no, don't do 3 tablespoons. 3 teaspoons of vanilla. The only thing I could find, though, at Walmart was imitation vanilla, so I normally wouldn't get that, but since we were there, I was like, I'm not going to run to another store just for one thing, so I just got it. And then usually 3 tablespoons of milk, but it really just kind of depends on how creamy the frosting is getting. That's something I just kind of eyeball and throw in. Also add 3 teaspoons of chocolate pudding. I think pudding really adds a nice flavor to buttercream frosting without being too heavy. And then I don't have to melt any chocolate, put it in there, or et cetera, et cetera. And you can also add different flavors depending on the pudding that you use. So just what I like to use, it's an old Betty Crocker recipe. And then at the bottom of the recipe, they actually say, like, if you want to add different flavors, here's some ideas. And they have some really good ones. So to make this an Oreo buttercream, I just chunked up some Oreos. I find that Oreos are best in flavor when you have like a whole piece of them. Maybe it's just personal. I know some people will like fine grind them. Not me, man. Like they got to be in a chunk to be the best. And I feel like for kids, it's the same. So I will just kind of like crush some of them up, put the buttercream in layers, and then I did more Oreos and kind of layered it. Set this in the fridge. This softened the Oreos. The buttercream softened the Oreos when it mixed together. And then when I take it out of the refrigerator for about 30 minutes before I frost the cake, I mix it all up and everything just kind of combines so nicely. The cakiness of the Oreos mixes really well with the buttercream, and it's perfect. Again, sky's the limit. If you don't like a chunky frosting, this might not be for you, but again, it was for kids and they were like all about it. I end up putting a few of the extra Oreos on the outside of the cake you'll see here at the end. And so many of the kids, when they were cutting the cake, because there was a range of ages here, obviously it wasn't just 16-year-olds. It was like little cousins and older kids, but the little ones were like, I want a piece with an Oreo. I want a piece with an Oreo. And so I'm like, oh, I wish I would have put more Oreos on the outside. I didn't realize they would be so popular. But again, I just kind of made this recipe up using my regular buttercream recipe that I always use, and then just wanted to see if it would turn out. I feel like at worst case scenario, I would just make another buttercream, like, to be honest. All right, same thing here, but this one I'm adding a 1/4 cup of the chocolate pudding to, and then a little extra milk. Same thing, but this is going to be the topping. So it's not like super chocolatey. It's not super sweet. I don't think buttercream frosting should be overly sweet. I know sometimes it's like the store brand ones, like that you can just purchase if you wanted to. If you don't even want to make your own frosting, I guess at Walmart you can just get the buttercream frosting in the deli section, like in the bakery deli section, in the bakery section. Again, if you just want to like make the cake, throw it together, there you go. There's an option, and that is going to always turn out like perfect. It's just going to be really, really sweet. I need to hear from you guys. Are you guys cake makers for birthdays? Are you cake buyers? Do you guys order the cakes? What do you guys do? I was just thinking of my husband the other day because I like have never made him a birthday cake. Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible wife. We've been married 15 years. I'll make him cookies or brownies or stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't think I've ever made you a birthday cake. He likes nothing bundt cakes. So I'm pretty sure I've gotten him that cake in a I think twice, maybe 3 times. But I think this year maybe I should try to make one of those. I think I have a bundt pan from way back when. I think I actually got a new one as a housewarming present. But there's some like really good dupe recipes out there, so you can make one of those, at home. There's my buttercream frosting. It's supposed to be 3 cups of both. That's about what the average is with that recipe, the 3 to 3. But you can do whatever. All right, moving on to the cakes. I will say, someone out there is going to say, your cake's flat. I know. I don't know why it bakes so flat. I don't know if it's my oven, because 2 were flat, 2 were not. So I don't know. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just a home baker. I'm also cutting these from frozen. Forgot to take them out before I went back to work this afternoon. And then when I came home, I really only let them thaw for maybe about 10 minutes. They really are best if you let them sit out for like 30 to 60. So we were working through some frozen rounds, but it's okay. They are actually the easiest to cut when they sit out for about 30 minutes. All right, putting some frosting down on my center. I also put this on the on the box. I was not thinking. I don't like transferring the cake to the box, okay? That's something I don't love to do. It's not a fun project for anyone. It's nerve-wracking. However, I decided to put the cake round on the box, build it on the box, but then forgot I was doing a crumb coat. You'll see here in a little bit, and kind of made a mess, but it's okay because the cake was coming out of the box, so like it is what it is. All right, as you can see, this frosting was really, really smooth with the Oreos in it because they got really soft, which I think makes a really great texture, a really great flavor. And I load up frosting. And my layers aren't even, my frosting's not even, it's not super beautiful, but like when it comes to taste, it's always a 10 out of 10. Like I know my cake's going to be a big hit based on taste. It might not be on looks. It might look, like I said, a little disheveled. I need to, maybe take a cake class or two. But I know people keep asking for my cakes because they taste good. And let's be real. If you're a mom and someone else says, hey, I'd love to make your kid's birthday cake, let me do it, you're going to be like, absolutely, yes, take that stress away from me. So again, it's just like a helpful thing I can do for my friends. Be like, hey, let me take this one thing. You planned the whole party, you decorated, you sent out the invites, let me have the cake and I can help you out. And it's just a fun thing for me. So anyways, this was a 5-layer cake. At first I thought it was 6. I even think I posted on Instagram that it was 6. I'm pretty sure it was 5. And then I took the extra one and did a crumb coat. Again, that was the plan all along, but I'm so glad that I did that because I had a little too less frosting. I didn't have enough. So again, I don't even have like a piping bag. I don't have decorations. When I was at Walmart, I actually was looking at all that stuff, and I was like, I should get into that. I really want to do a fondant class, if I'm being honest. Again, like, you look at my layers. They're not perfect, but it's going to look good at the end. Trust me. You cover anything with frosting, it looks good, tastes good. Smashed it down a little too much here. Oops. I really want to do a fondant class. I love messing with that stuff. I think it's so fun, but I want to figure out how to put it on the cake smoother, I guess, like how to work with it better. And I've also like watched a couple of videos, and it's so dry here that it doesn't really help the fondant very much. But if you have any tips, leave them down below. Don't roast me. Please don't roast me down below with my cake making skills. You'll hurt my feelings. Okay? If you roast me, your comment's just going to get deleted. I'm not going to leave it up because that's just mean. Okay? You can be encouraging without roasting people. All right, anyways, finishing the cake off here. Also, you're probably going to laugh at the tools I use. I'm using a spatula. I'm just getting the frosting on the cake. Again, I'm not applying for the cake shows on Food Network, okay? They're not going to find this video and go, we want you on the next Christmas cake bake-off, even though those are my favorite shows to watch. And I see all these tools and all these things. Like, I don't even have a KitchenAid mixer, okay? I'm mixing it with my handy-dandy Huntington Beach, whatever it's called, hand mixer, which I love that thing, okay? Like, I don't have a KitchenAid for a reason. I don't see a reason to have one because I don't bake enough, and I probably would just never use it, but I just have a hand mixer. So in a little bit, I'm actually going to use my veggie, oh, what is this thing called? You'll see it in a second. It's like a veggie scraper. When you cut, that's what I use to smooth out my frosting. And you know what? It works because you really just need a smooth side. That's it. You need a smooth side. Again, I'm just like a self-taught. I do like 3-4 cakes a year. I don't make a lot of them. I think I actually made five this year because I'll do March, May, June, September. If I make one for my husband, I'll make 6. So like, I'm not in my kitchen every week perfecting my craft. See how smooth it starts to look? Like, you don't even realize the layers underneath look bad. And then when you cut it, it doesn't even matter. Again, I'm not a professional. Oh, if I didn't mention, the pickleball cake, the funny thing is, this has to be at least 8 layers. So we're going to have to put probably some support in that cake, which again, like, I just learned all that from Food Network. And then I'll look things up on YouTube. And I just take my time and I learn. And as you can see, the cake's getting super smooth here just using this fun little tool. I just want to say thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you've made it through this part of the video, I've spent the whole time there. My daughter was on the floor. She was picking up like crumbs that had fallen from when I was cutting the cake, like the rounds. She is so funny. She'll be always in the kitchen with me, playing with her Tupperware. I've shared that a few times, her Tupperware area. But like, if something falls on the ground, she's like right there. Like, it is hilarious to me how babies can find the tiniest little speck of something. It's hilarious. All right, so moving along, we're going to add the crumb coat. Crumb coat with buttercream is one of my favorite things. One, because I knew this was a Metallica party, I knew I wanted it to be like a darker, edgier cake, and it looks so good. The mom had toppings. I did not get a final photo of it. I wish I would have, but she had like toppings to put on like decor on the top, but the crumb coat just looked so good. And then when the cake was sliced, also, I was like, dang, did I make that? I was so impressed. So, you know what? A little homemade cake, a little homemade touch, turned out pretty good. It kind of looks like a dirt cake from this angle. Anyways, for the crumb coat, I just crumbled up 1/2 of the rounds that I had sliced. Made sure by this time it was like completely thawed, so it was not frozen at all. It was really easy to work with. And then I just pressed it on the sides. I think it just adds such a good element to the buttercream, especially when you don't have a super sweet cake. Adds a lot of moisture to it. It hardens really nicely in the refrigerator. And as you can see, I made a huge mess because I knew I was putting a crumb coat on it and then kind of like did not think that through with the box, but I just kind of cleaned it up as best I could. And again, the cake came out of the box. It was just to transport it there. So I wasn't too worried about it. Again, I'm very type B, if anybody can't tell that by watching any of my videos. I'm just like, all right, that's good. Make sure you do me a huge favor. give this video a huge thumbs up if you haven't already. Big thumbs up. So that way all the home bakers and anyone who ever is like, man, I wish I could bake a birthday cake, but you know what? I just don't have the abilities. I don't have the talent. That way they can see this. Share this with someone in your life and be like, listen, it's the thought that counts. It's not like how perfect things are. Kids don't care about perfection, honestly. And if they do, like, that's fine. Maybe they're type B like me because all the kids in my life are. They just like that someone thought of them and made them a birthday cake and they got exactly what they wanted. I don't know. There's something just special about a homemade birthday cake. And I plan to make that tradition in our house with our kids. And I'm excited to start this year. And again, like I'll share that with you guys when I bake it. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. And come hang out with me again in the next couple of weeks as I bake more cakes. All right, like I said, I added some of the Oreos to the bottom. What I did is I actually just microwaved the Oreos for about 15 seconds to make the cream kind of soft so I could adhere it to the cake, almost like a glue. Kind of measured them out so they were evenly placed and then popped them on. And the nice thing is, again, the Oreos do get a little soft. So it just adds a nice element of texture to the cake. And again, all the little kids were like, I want a piece with an Oreo. I want a piece with an Oreo. It was so sweet because they knew it was an Oreo cake based on this. And then, like I said, the mom had some decor for the top. But this cake turned out so good and it was delicious, which is the only thing that matters. All right, thanks for being here. I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye.